Hey guys, welcome back with another episode of Life with the Hamptons. As you can see, we have another addition to the farm, and this is an Intimidator, all American made four-wheel drive utility vehicle. This is made in Arkansas. Can't remember the town it's made in, but it's made in Arkansas. Everything, this is American steel. They have their own fabrication plant, all of that stuff. All the parts, as much as possible, is sourced out of the United States. I think there's all but the exception of maybe the motor itself. This is a 30 horsepower motor. This has 120 foot-pounds of torque. And if you don't know anything about torque, just to give you an example, but you know about UTVs and stuff, a Polaris RZR 1000 turbo has about 80 foot-pounds of torque. At like a 5,000 or 6,000 RPMs. This has 120 foot-pounds of torque at 0 RPMs. So from the very first time you touch that throttle, this has 120 foot-pounds of torque. It is a beast. And we want to go through this machine, and we're going to do a super in-depth, hardcore, extreme review on this machine. I couldn't find another review on the interweb really about any electric UTV. Seems like all the videos I could find on the interweb about electric UTVs was they were talking about the hauling capacity. They were throwing a bale of hay in the trunk and hauling it around or dumping it. This machine here, this is the XD4, which is the ultimate package that Intimidator offers. These are not cheap. I want to be upfront about that. These are very, very expensive machines. In fact, you may question whether or not it's worth it or not, but I'm going to be upfront and transparent. This machine, bone stock, without this windshield, which is a automotive glass windshield, but without the windshield, without the top, without all the lights, without the bumpers front and rear, without the 4,500 pound super winch, without all the extra, like I said, the HD lights, the LED lights all the way around. This has got LED lights on the rear, for the reverse, for the front. It's fully decked out. But without any of that stuff, just a plain Jane model is $20,000. So this one, as you see it, even has windshield wipers. So this one, as you see it, is about $25,000. They are not cheap, but we're going to put this thing to the test, and I want this to be the absolute best video that you can find on the interweb about not just the Intimidator, but about electric UTVs in general. Nobody has them, but we're gonna put one on there. Okay, this thing right here, just wanted to go over it real quick. Is a 30 horsepower motor. The motor is one of those exceptions we were talking about. The motor is German made, so a lot of good things come out of Germany, and these motors are one of them. But this is a 48 volt system. This has 8 6-volt deep cycle batteries, which are actually 240 amp hours of storage in this battery pack. So we're going to go the mileage. We're going to do a mileage test. Just be up front with you. The mileage in my terrain, as you can see in the background, I live in Nantahala, North Carolina. 99% of the land here in Nantahala is only good for one thing, and that's to help hold the rest of the world together. This stuff it's straight up. It rivals that of anywhere in the country. I know a lot of people in Kentucky and West Virginia, you know, the Hatfield-McCoy trails, they got a lot of steep terrain. We're just like that here, if not more so. A lot of stuff you don't even want to walk up, right? So, but we're going to take these on trail rides. We're going to go through the mud. We're going to go up steep mountain climbs. We're going to pull this thing. My boat right here, I'm going to hook my boat up to this. I'm not going to do one of these flimsy little videos like you put a little lawnmower trailer on it and throw in a couple bales of hay and pull it around the yard and say, my, how this thing will pull. What I'm going to do, and it's starting to rain now again, I mean, it's been raining all week. I'm going to hook my boat, which is a 2-bedroom cuddy cabin. My boat on that 32-foot aluminum trailer weighs 10,000 pounds. I hope I didn't stutter on that. 10,000 pounds, that's right, 10,000 pounds. And we're going to put it behind this. It has about 1,200 to 1,400 pounds of tongue weight. Yes, that's right, 1,200 to 1,400 pounds of tongue weight. And we're going to put it on this, and we're going to move it. We're going to reposition it up there, and we're going to do all this with this machine. So we're going to put this machine to the test. I'm going to show you the goods, the bads, and the uglies. There are a few things I don't like about this, and we're going to expound on those, but there's a lot of things that I love about this. And like I said, we're going to do the mileage, roughly see what we can get. I'll just tell you, this thing, what I'm averaging in this terrain on my trails and working around the farm, I'm getting around 10 miles to a charge. Now, you don't think 10 miles is a lot, but you set out to walk 10 miles and you'll figure out real quick it's a long way. So, but this thing is good for the farmer, the hunter, the person who just likes to be super quiet. I'm not an emissions guy, right? I didn't buy this thing because I want to help save the planet. You know, I don't want to help destroy the planet, but I'm not spending that kind of money just to help save the planet. I'm not a tree hugger, and so I'm not a liberal. And if you're a liberal, thank you for watching. And if you get offended, just roll with it, because you'll probably get offended again. But as we go through here, I just want you to know I didn't buy this for emissions or because it was green. I bought this because I love it. I love electric vehicles. I'm a redneck, you know, to the core. I got little hot rods, all this stuff. But I bought this because I love the ergonomics of an electric UTV. We have had everything under the sun. We have had all types of UTVs. I just sold a Can-Am Defender. Super nice Can-Am Defender. I liked it okay, but there's just, you can never compare a gas UTV to an electric UTV. The difference in that electric power is addicting. Just to be able to just touch that throttle and it pulls you along with whatever's behind it anywhere you want to go by just the mere crack of that throttle. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to get into this. It's a long video. Just hang in there. I know you don't like to sit around and listen to people talk, but this is a review, an in-depth review, and there has to be a lot of talking to tell you what I like, what I don't like, but we're going to be a lot of showing too. So without further ado, we're going to get into this. All right, here we go. This is extremely steep. As you can see, it wouldn't hardly let me turn. I had the rear end locked and it wouldn't turn in too good because it's so steep. I know the camera doesn't pick that up, but it's super steep. And I am still just in two-wheel drive. Guys, this is absolutely insanely steep. Insanely steep. Whew. I know the camera does not pick it up. Give you just a little insight. My brother's got a track hoe, about a 10,000 pound track hoe. and I had to borrow it, come up here and clean this out around my water. It's right beside the camera, my spring head. And the track hoe will not walk up this, it's so steep. I had to put the bucket out and pull myself up while I was walking with the track hoe. This is super steep. It actually surprised me that it went as far as it did up here because of how wet it is. It's a little sketchy. All right, guys, just give you a little indication of where I was sliding off of. This is it here, and this is all solid rock right here, and this is all 45 degrees. Every bit of this is 45 degrees. It is the same steepness as that bank is right here, except there's a quarry of rock under here, and it's all slick-faced rock. And that was the squirrely part of where I was sliding back off of this. As I was attempting to come back down. And look, if you'll see that, and again, this don't show how steep that is, but this is straight, I mean, this is straight off down through there. And this is where I was sliding to when I was coming back off. Guys, this brings me to I've got 3 cons with this machine, and this brings me to my first one. This little trail up around the back side of our property, this goes all the way up to the top of our property here. It's about 1,750 feet from my house on up to the top of the mountain. But as you can see right here, this trail that I've cut in, and this tree has fell, obviously since we've been up through here, but it fell a couple nights ago. But as you can see, my son and I were down here, and he was actually driving it. And in high range, trying to go up through here, this is black topsoil, okay? It's just black topsoil, nasty. It's been raining, like I said, all week. And as we started up through here, even though this has 30 horsepower, and it has 120 foot-pounds of torque, it's got buttloads of torque, right? Just tons of it. But my con about this is it doesn't have the horsepower that I would prefer. With 30 horsepower, this machine weighs 2,100 pounds. Just to give for an instance, my Can-Am Defender weighed 1,400 pounds. So, I mean, we're 700 pounds heavier than a Can-Am Defender. But this machine, wide open from here, and everything locked up, the rear diff in and the front four-wheel drive locked in, wide open up through here, it'll only spin these tires maybe like 5 miles an hour. That's all the horsepower that it has, is to turn them about 5 miles an hour. And again, a quick tutorial on torque versus horsepower. Torque is the amount of power this machine has, 120 foot-pounds of it, is the amount of power it has to begin to turn the tires, to actually move the machine. The horsepower rating come in is to how fast it moves the machine. Once it gets moving, how fast does it continue to spin the tires and accelerate? That's the difference between torque and horsepower. Again, this has all the torque in the world to pull, we're going to pull 10,000 pounds with it. It has all the torque in the world to move that at a slow speed. However, with 30 horsepower and a 2,100 pound machine, it just doesn't have the horsepower to spin the mud out of those tires to where it can continuously grab new ground. And what it was doing, once those tires were spinning about 5 miles an hour or so, all these tires, even though they're great tires, they become full and packed in with mud. And when they became packed in with mud, it wasn't spinning fast enough to throw that mud out and grab new mud. So in essence, it was just one big muddy tire just slowly spinning on top of mud. So it wouldn't go. Now my Can-Am, it would, in low range, it would spin those tires fast enough to get new dirt, and it would pull up through there even in rainy conditions. So just be aware of this. I want you to understand the difference between torque and horsepower. This thing is amazing, and it goes great in dry conditions. Now, when you start getting in mud, it just doesn't have the horsepower to really just step on that throttle and it just to blow the mud out of them tires and carry you on through. So this is a slow moving vehicle, so just be aware of it. All right, guys, it's still raining and just sprinkling pretty good. I just want you to see the tongue weight that this thing has as we put this boat on here. Hold it like it was butter. It's just way too nasty for this. Thought I'd give it a go, but it's just too slick. It's been raining. It's raining now. It's a nasty mess. But I thought we'd try it. If it's dry, it goes right up that, don't even hardly spin. Slick. All right, guys, what we got is I've got a place right here. It's kind of dug out at the base of this. I'm going to show you the difference between an open diff and a lock diff, and then lock diff with four-wheel drive. Just the difference in the way it goes. This is going to be low range, full throttle. From the time I take off, full throttle in open diff. That's it. So I'm going to start from the same place. The lock diff, low range. Now that it's super muddy and slick and the tires are bald, it probably won't go any farther. They wouldn't even take off. Now we're going to four-wheel drive. And again, I'm in low range and I'm flooring the pedal. It's so slick, you don't want to even make it four-wheel drive without a run and go. Now, it's just slick, guys. This is going to give us a really good test. Now I'm going to hit it in high speed with a run and go. See if it does anything else. This is high speed, the run and go. Nope. Just won't do it. Hey guys, just wanted to show you what it'll do. Now, this is again, it's a super steep hill. And it's just nasty. I mean, it's still raining. I'm soaking wet, and just out here having fun, playing around, making you guys video. But even in four-wheel drive, even in high range, it wouldn't get enough speed to go up through there. Now, my Can-Am would, even in the rainy conditions just like this, it would be able to leave here, even though it didn't have nowhere near the torque this has got. It had horsepower, had more horsepower, so it could leave here and get a faster momentum, a faster run at the hill, and it would go up through there. Pretty much with no problem in four-wheel drive. But this is the issue, this is the trade-off that you have with electric vehicles. You lose the horsepower, which is that momentum. It's the speed that you can build up and go up stuff. But just letting you guys see that, the good, bad, and the ugly. I don't know if you heard, if you'll look back on this video, I put it in reverse and you can hear that gear grinding coming back. That is my second pet peeve with this, the second con on this. When you put it in reverse, sometimes, not always, not even most of the time, but sometimes you put it in reverse, this thing does not have a gear indicator like a lot of them do. It'll have like a slot that the reverse goes in, or you pull it on out of that and then go into neutral or low or high. This one don't. This is just, you're pulling the gear shift straight down, and it's got an electronic, a digital display shows you what gear it's in. And due to that fact, sometimes it reads that it's in reverse, but it's actually not in reverse, and you'll get that grinding like it's not in a gear, and you'll just have to just wiggle the gear shifter, and then it pops in reverse on its own. But that's the second one, and we'll get to the third one here shortly. I'll show you it on a trail. Pretty up in here. Muddy stuff right here. We're going down a pretty good little embankment. Guys, we're just gonna put it in low range, two-wheel drive. That's what it's in right now. I'll tell you what, I want to try diff, open rear diff. So the diff lock is off, and just see how far we can get up through here with one wheel. Maybe not far at all. That's an open diff. And it's just so muddy, it looks like it was spinning both of them anyway. So now they're locked in. So we'll just see if that helps any. Maybe not. No, it's just slick. So now we're just going to gauge four-wheel drive. Waterfall. We're doing four-wheel drive because this is a little steep. And again, guys, when I say a little steep, I'm being sarcastic. So again, I hope you can tell any bit of the whining that you hear in here, now it's not bad in the cab at all, but I'm just saying it's not like you're riding around on an electric golf cart. But all that noise is confined to what you hear in the cab. There's just not a lot of noise outside, so it's still what you would consider, if you were a hunter, consider it deadly silent. Some good views. Two-wheel drive. It's easier to steer, put it in two-wheel drive, so that's why we have two-wheel drive as much as we can. Beautiful. Tweak him in back in four-wheel drive here. So we'll go back up. Here to not level ground by no means, but place and this trees blooming. That time of year, maybe another month, and things just really start budding out. All right, guys, we're gonna do a range test. You can see we're at 135.6 miles, 135.6. So we're just gonna ride this thing around and see what it gets. Hey guys, we're just cruising around here getting some mileage on. You can see we're running 21. It'll run 23, 24 if you just hold it down, but my assumptions is it'll probably use a lot more energy by trying to go that extra 2 to 3 miles an hour all the time. So I'm just taking it easy, running up through here, and we're just getting some mileage on. All the way down at the bottom of the general store, there's a 3.5 mile run to the top of my creek, and it's all pretty good uphill grade. So it's a pretty good test on it. Just go back and forth and then doing some trail riding and stuff just to see what kind of mileage we'll get. Well guys, I picked up a straggler as I went by my house coming to the head of the creek. Brick decided to jog up here with me, so we're now about 3 miles above my house, and I happened to turn around and Brick was about 50 yards behind me. So I pitched me up a hitchhiker and we're headed back down now. Guys, we're down at the mighty Nantahala Outdoor Center, looking at the Nantahala River. Let's just take a little trip. It says no parking, we're not parking. The water is on and going strong. See, when this is when the water's down, you can drive all the way out through there. The sidewalks actually connect out there and come around. Come back up to where we're at here. Pretty place though. Hey, Wivey. Well, on this trip riding around, we went home and we got the wife. And we're back down here. Another trip. So, just enjoying this afternoon. It is kind of chilly, as you can tell. My wife has on her parka. But it's a beautiful place. Just made it back home after an hour and a half of riding. Solid. Only time I stopped was I came by. I got tired of singing to myself, so I came by and picked my wife up, and we went back at it again riding. But I am absolutely amazed. If you'll look back, what I want you to do, look back earlier in the video where I was over going up to my water tank, and I was in a switchback when I almost ran off the bank, and I went that switchback, and when I backed up, if you remember, look at that, the left driver's side rear tire was mashed down, and you could see how wrinkled up the tire was from low air pressure. I actually was editing that and saw that and thought, let me check my air pressure. And I checked my air pressure, and it was between 6 and 8 pounds in all 4 tires. Although that will greatly help your climbing ability with traction, it will kill you on range. So I went back over the whole machine, and I put 15 pounds of air in all 4 tires, and before we did this our range test. And we're going to take you and let you see this. And I just backed it in. I haven't turned off anything. Now we are at 21% power. And it was flashing at me, and it cut back power to where it just would barely pull up our driveway. But if you'll look right here, 153.1. We started with 135.6. And that math adds up to 17 and a half miles. That's what it got. 17 and a half miles on a charge. Now, granted, when I started, it was on 95% because it has been 2 days since it's been charged. We done those tests that you saw earlier in the video. I done those, and it rained for 2 days. But it's been 2 days, and I charged it up that night. And then just due to, that's the way lead acid batteries are, it sit for 2 days not being used after it was fully charged, and cold nights, and it drained 5% of those freshly charged batteries down. So when I actually got in it today, it was 95% when I got in it, started using it. So there's no doubt in my mind, if it was freshly charged to 100%, this thing would get 20 miles on a charge. There's no question in my mind, and that blows my mind because I'd never checked it before. I just assumed I was getting 8 to 10 miles per charge, and that's why I said that at the very first of the video, because that's what my thinking, just what I've been running, that's about what I was getting. It turns out I'm getting a whole lot better than that. So through the trails, through riding up and down the main road, the trail rides, stuff like that, with a full charge, it will get 20 miles on a full charge in my conditions. That gets 2 thumbs up. That is awesome. It's slick. It's real slick. Really slick. Today's the first pretty day we've had, so after rain, I just want to see if it's going to make it up, and it ain't. It's just really slick. You can see what I was referring to earlier, it being floored and those tires just barely turning over. Has the torque to pull it anywhere, it's just they don't have the horsepower to pull it fast and throw the mud out of the tires. So once it gets mud caked in those tread, it's just basically a bald tire and mud. I was hoping it would make it up through there, but I guess it's a pretty good show of what I'm talking about. That is slick, buddy. Very, very, very slick. Get turned around. We are in the creek. Sorry, EPA. I want to show you what we got here. My bank there, where I cross the creek, you can hope you can see that it's kind of just like it's just straight off. It's just blunt straight off. So the last couple times I've been over here, it's been kind of hard to get up. As you can see, just like, I mean, it's just, that bank is up over the hood tall. So it's just basically just a straight up pull. I can give you a, let me give you a little for reference on how steep this is. That rock's over my knee, and this is super, super steep. And what you probably can't see is how sidling it is. This thing is a rock crawler. Anything you want it to be. All right, gang, I thought this might be a little bit better of a demonstration for you with the unlocked open diff and then locked up diff. And I'll probably only have to use 4-wheel drive to get out of here, even though this is a pretty steep little incline. This is low range with an open diff. Get a little run for you. You can see it. One wheel. Now we got a diff lock. You just sit locked in. We're out here, the back side of our yard. This is the trail that ties in down with the goat pasture that goes up the top of our mountain. And we got a dandy little switchback right here. And this is going to lead me to my third con about this vehicle. I have to kick it in. All right, guys, this brings me to my third con about the Intimidator all-electric American-made UTV. The power steering, the lack of a power steering. And you can tell this is a prime example. It's why we're standing here. This is a really steep switchback that goes back in, and this doesn't turn very sharp. That could be a fourth con, which it probably is. I don't like that. It has a very big turning radius. It don't turn anywhere near as sharp as that Can-Am Defender. Can-Am Defender would make this in one turn going up and make it in one turn coming down. I never had to back up. But this is not that. So this is a wider turning radius. So I do have to back up. And I just want you to see when I come down with a load and I put a load here and then have to turn that wheel to back up and then try to make it, you do have to wrestle with that steering wheel. Yeah, not terrible bad, but it's not power steering.
Fully electric.
Hey, like that.
Wow.
Hey, like that.
You know how steep this is up here. Look at that. Here we go. You having fun?
Yeah. Whoa.
Here we go. I bet that light will run that battery down. Not good. It's all LED though. That's the best dog I've ever had. I never gets in the way.
Are we going up here?
Yeah, we might not be able to make it far at all. I ain't been up here in 3 years. 3 or 4 years. I'd say it'll go over that. Yeah. Putting it to the test on this mountain. Oh yeah. People don't understand how steep this is though. Oh, I know it. This video don't do it. No. You can't even hardly walk up this. I mean, it takes, especially right up here. This last pull, it's really bad trying to walk. There's a line down.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's gonna wrap it up for us. It rained for 3 days. It was a nasty, muddy mess, but I was bound and determined to make a video for you guys so you could see it. I just hope that you can see really the potential of these electric UTVs and how they can go and how they perform. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe, and God bless.